Yo, I was thinking the other day of how I actively combat social anxiety. Because social anxiety is something that I felt lumbered with right from when I started high school. And it's interesting because that's the kind of stage when you get to a certain level where you lose that sort of childhood innocence of being able to go up to strangers, being able to talk to anyone. And there's just so much social pressure in high school. There's hierarchies, there's embarrassing moments. You just want to fit in, but at the same time, sometimes you don't want to stick out. You don't want to stick out like a sore thumb and just be an individual, sadly. And I was thinking the other day of how I've come up with certain tactics, how I've actively tried to improve myself and become a more social person. Because sadly, a lot of people with social anxiety believe that that's just it. They just have social anxiety, they're extremely introverted, when in actuality, I think a lot of people are extroverted, but they have social anxiety. They're not introverted. There's some people who are genuinely introverted, but social anxiety can put a cloud over that. Because you can somewhat tell if you're extroverted if you have the desire to talk to people, to meet new people, to express yourself. An introvert, they may still have that desire, but they are much more comfortable and recharge their batteries by being by themselves. And I realized for myself that when I was by myself, there's times when I'm happy with it, but if I'm by myself for too long, I feel very, very isolated, drained, lonely, and I just want to speak to people. And I haven't struggled making friends necessarily. I had quite a few friends in high school, in college as well, but I never was the initiator. I always struggled going up to people. I always struggled trying to make friends. I was fine when I was in a conversation, but starting a conversation was way too difficult for me. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I saw a cool person or a cute girl, I had no idea what to say. Nowadays, I've become much better at it. I'm not perfect, I'm not a complete stud when it comes to social skills, but I've certainly come a long way. And the way I've done this is just make it an active habit of expressing myself, an active habit of avoiding self censorship. If I see a guy in the gym and I think his shoes are cool, I should say that. What have I got to lose from telling a guy, from having the thought of a guy's shoes, they look cool to me? Why don't I tell him that? Why don't I make someone happy? And who knows, maybe that'll spark up a conversation, maybe I'll learn things about the guy, maybe we'll become friends. And of course, the easiest place I found to make friends is the gym. If you're not in the gym, what are you doing? Get started. Come on, bro. You know this already. Um, the gym is just fantastic because there's so many people obviously that go there, and you've already got something in common with those people. There's also something to talk about. There's always goals to talk about, similarities in training style. You've got a commonality between you that allows for conversation to be easy. If you're just out in the street, it's a little bit difficult. You have to point out something that's around you or ask a question, spike off a conversation. But in the gym, just talking with anyone, the two ways to start a conversation are asking a question or making a statement. This could be a statement about their appearance, complimenting their clothes. I remember yesterday it was actually a guy was like doing incline chest press with 30 kg dumbbells, which I found very impressive. So I just told him that, and he was like, "Oh, thank you, man." And that was it. It was just a little throwing these seeds around, seeing which ones grow, which ones don't, and just allowing myself to express myself because it's okay if you don't have these thoughts. It's okay if you don't feel like you should compliment people or don't want to compliment people. That's fine. What is not fine is having the thought of that person's coat is cool. Oh, I want to work in with this person on a machine, and then stopping yourself, censoring yourself. Why would you allow yourself to do that? Self sabotage, that's all it is. And I'll talk you through one of the many ways that I've made friends in the gym. Easiest way, like I've said, is if someone's on a machine you want to use, you ask them how many sets they've got left, and then you ask them if you can work in. And it's great to always start small. You don't instantly need to go up to people if you struggle socially and just spark up 1,000 conversations and rapid fire questions. Sometimes it could be as simple as just asking someone to watch your stuff for you as you go to the toilet, or asking someone how many sets they've got left, and then just waiting to use the machine and saying thank you. Simple things like these, while they may seem trivial, are fantastic. You're already ahead of so many people by simply expressing yourself, using your voice. And why would you not want that for yourself? Obviously, if you're at a bit of a more advanced level and you want to talk to people, you can discuss with someone how their, training's going, or if you're just out in public, let's say you're at a cafe and you've just complimented a guy's shoes or whatever, you can ask him how his day is going, what he's up to today, what his plans. And the key to being social, as weird as it sounds, is speaking less. People will gravitate towards you if you listen to them. And as I said, don't make it an interview, don't rapid fire questions. As I said, with me, it's been very easy to talk with people. It was just the initiation that I was struggling with. But there's some people who struggle to initiate and then struggle to hold a conversation. The key to holding a conversation is getting to know the person, allowing them to speak more than you do, and then responding to that, either in the form of another question or something they say reminds you. They may ask you a question. And that's just the bare bones of it. That is so basic. Let's say someone's telling you, you ask someone, oh, what's your training style in the gym? And they go, oh, I do push-pull legs. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. What's your goals? What are you trying to achieve in the gym? I know that was a very weird way of saying it, but follow along with me. And they may say, oh, I want to build more muscle, or I want to improve my fitness. Oh, how about you? And this is just what it is. It's this simple back and forth. And what's great is that if you are able to hold that conversation and the vibe is good, this is important. If you meet someone on the street, a cute girl, some guy in the gym, whatever it is, if the vibe is good, and only if the vibe is good, if you build that emotional connection, then establish. Maybe suggest to hang out, suggest to go on a date, suggest to hit a workout sometime, but I stress only if the vibe is good. Because I've done this before, where I've been talking to a guy in the gym. I kind of did it in a bad way, where he was like, doing some bicep curls or something with quite low weight, not to brag or anything, but it was quite easy for me. And I asked him if I could use it, and I just basically mocked him as I was doing it. I probably shouldn't have started a conversation with that, but we got talking. Turns out he went to my college and things like that. And then, without reading the vibe, I got blinded by the potential for friendship. What I mean by this is, I was so focused on trying to make a new friend and trying to get the end result of hitting a workout with a guy, that I didn't actually suss out if we were compatible. And I don't think we were. I'm quite, expressive, make jokes and whatever, and this guy was a lot more, calm, a lot more quiet. And I could tell we just weren't compatible in that way, but I ignored that, and I was like, oh, I need to get to know him and hit a workout. So I got his phone number, I messaged him saying, oh, when we hitting this workout? Didn't get a reply. And I saw him in the gym, and he was like, oh, I was going to ask you this morning if you wanted to go. Stab the cat, bro. And I was like, oh, just let me know when. He never let me know. I do see him in the gym now and again sometimes. It's a bit awkward because we don't really interact with each other anymore. And I could have avoided that if I just, saw this as a guy that I could say hello to in the gym. You don't need to be friends with everybody. And I've learned that now. There's some people who I simply say hello to in the gym, ask them how this day going, and I don't feel the need to hit a workout with them because I've realized that we're not necessarily compatible. But if you do find someone, if you find a girl you're attracted to and the vibe is immaculate, if you find a guy who you just click with and it's just sensational and he would be a fantastic training partner, then go for it. They're most likely not going to ask you to hang out. You have to be the one to say hello. You have to be the initiator. You have to invite people into your fun, interesting life. And if your life is not fun and interesting, then you need to make a change. Social anxiety is curable. Social anxiety is not something that you're stuck with forever. The problem is the majority of people do not make an active effort to improve themselves. Back in the day, it was a bit more easy because you had to learn to be social. If you wanted to order things, you had to go into a store. If you wanted to make new friends, or if you wanted to, I don't know, just do most things in life, you had to speak to people. But with the invention of home delivery, with the internet, with people getting all of their social needs from social media, which is kind of ironic sometimes because that makes you feel more isolated, video games, all the other stuff, it can be hard. It can feel very unnatural, and you have to go out of your way to improve your social skills in the real world. And I say challenge accepted. I say if you have social anxiety, if you're not naturally a social person, if you struggle with communication, but you want to express yourself, make it a habit to practice it. Go with a mate of yours to the city centre like I did a while back and speak to some girls, speak to some people. A lot of guys out there saying, oh, that's kind of cringe to like go out just for speaking girls. I think it is a bit cringe if you just go about by yourself. I think it's much better if you actually have an objective. If you're in the city centre, you're wanting to buy things, buy new clothes, and you just happen, you're just going about your regular day and you see a cute girl or a guy you want to speak to, that's fine. But I think sometimes it can be good if it's you and a friend and you're actively like competing each other to speak to as many people, speak to girls, express yourself the most. That can make it a friendly competition. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. You've got to go to the kickboxing gym before you have your first kickboxing fight. And all I can say, bro, is that it's just an active habit. And when you become more social, don't feel the need that you have to be social every single day of your life. There's some days when I just don't want to speak to people. I just want to get on with my gym session. I just want to walk the streets. I just want to be alone. I just want to enjoy the nice views when I'm out. I don't feel the need to compliment everyone, to approach every girl I see. But what's worse is that if I do that, if I have the desire to approach someone and I just ignore it, I just dismiss it, because there's going to be a time in the future when I'm older, when I'm going to regret so many. I regret it now. The amount of times that I've seen a cute girl in the street and I'm like, wow. And I just look the other way. She walks past and gone like ships in the night. No acknowledgement whatsoever. But I said enough was enough. I wanted to actively speak to more girls. I wanted to make more friends. I wanted to be social. I wanted to get my message across. I wanted to do YouTube. Subscribe for more. I wanted to be me. Be my authentic self. And be the kind of person that people gravitate towards. And as I said, I'm still actively building that. I've come so far, but I still have a long way to go. You can defeat social anxiety, but only if you're willing. You can start off small. Like I said, simply ask someone to watch your stuff. Go up to someone in the street and ask what time it is. Say your phone's dead. Whatever it is. Just be comfortable with speaking and gradually increase the difficulty. Progressive overload. You can start off by asking the time. Then you can start off by saying good morning to a stranger. You can ask someone for directions. You can compliment someone's shoes. And eventually, you're approaching people left, right, and centre. You're starting conversations with the old man on the bus. You're approaching the cute girl and then meeting her for coffee the next week. And you're becoming that guy in the gym who you walk in with one of your friends and there's about like 5 people who say hello to you because you're that guy. What a wonderful experience that must be. And you must strive for that if you desire it. Hope you've enjoyed this video, bro. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. God bless. And as always, you take very good care of yourself.